Welcome to beautiful Southern California here in February as we get toward the end of the month for the WCC This Week presented by Geico. Just ahead of our Game of the Week featuring a Resurgence USF Dawns team and the Loyola Marymount Lions here on Family Weekend. They're trying to win a game and avoid playing the 8-9 game less than 2 weeks from now. Alongside Casey Jacobson, I'm Steve Quist. Welcome inside Gersten Pavilion. And here we've got a big game, but up the road tonight to conclude WCC play, perhaps the game of the year in the conference, and that would be Gonzaga hosting St. Mary's. So a huge day for the conference.
Yeah, if you're a WCC fan, this is one that you circle on your calendar every single year, the top two teams in the conference. And remember, Gonzaga has revenge on their mind. They were at Moraga. They had a big second half lead and let it slip. So let's see if they can get it done at the Kennel tonight.
And of course, Casey, only one game separating the two in the standings as we look to the up-to-the-minute standings, and this is the second to last Saturday in conference play. It looks as if the top 5 teams might jockey for position. They're locked up as far as teams, maybe not spots are concerned, and then you've got the bottom half.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of separation going on here. The top 3 are the usual suspects we got going on. Pepperdine and San Francisco, they're in the middle there, and they're trying to, those two teams, actually, you did the game just a couple of nights ago. They played against each other. San Francisco playing some of the best basketball in the entire conference, and then just a jumbled mess there at the bottom, all jockeying for position for the WCC tournament.
So let's talk about Gonzaga, because there has to be some nervous energy up there in Spokane. I mean, they always get to the NCAA tournament. They still have some work to do.
A lot of work to do, Steve. They only have one quality win right there you see against UConn, and then look at all those losses. Several of those have been at home, and they have an RPI of 60, which is exactly where you don't want to be. Last year, there was not a single at-large team with the RPI above 60 that made the NCAA tournament. Gonzaga had a big opportunity last Saturday against a ranked SMU team that they let go by the wayside, which makes this game tonight against St. Mary's even more critical. The Zags have made the tournament 17 straight years, so there's a lot of fans in Spokane right now that are really sweating whether or not the Zags can get it done.
Yeah, when you're talking about RPI, I'm thinking back to Colorado State last year, left out of the tournament despite winning 13 conference games and having an RPI of 29, so it's not a done deal here for Gonzaga. Who can beat the Zags, though, and get the automatic bid in the tournament?
You have to start with St. Mary's. They're playing them tonight. They've already beat them, and they held Kyle Wilcher down in that game to a conference low 6 points. St. Mary's is the best defensive team. They only allow 62 points per contest, and they can shoot it with the best of them. Next, BYU. BYU is capable. They're the only WCC team to go to the Kennel and beat them. And surprisingly, it was the Cougs defense that won that game for them. They held the Zags to 37% in their home gym. And remember, the Zags still have to go to Provo next Saturday to see if they can get a win there at the Marriott Center. And then last but not least, I throw in Pepperdine. Yes, the Waves are a little bit inconsistent, but on any given night, they have a tough defense, and they got this guy right here, Stacey Davis, who's a beast for anybody. He can also guard Kyle Wilcher, and then Lamont Murray, the emergence of him. They're now a much more complete basketball team.
I love that Pepperdine roster and what Marty Wilson's done up there, but like you said, inconsistent. You just never know what you're going to get, but they could make a run 2 weeks from today at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Speaking of that, the 2016 West Coast Conference Men's and Women's Basketball Championships will return to Orleans Arena in Las Vegas less than 2 weeks, March 3rd through the 8th. Visit WCCSports.com for complete event and ticket information. When we return, we're going into the studio. You want to sing it with me? We're going to watch these two. Watch him whip and watch him nay-nay. Watch me whip and watch me nay-nay. Watch me whip and watch me nay-nay.
Oh, boy.
Welcome back to WCC This Week, presented by Geico. In Los Angeles, I'm Kelly Tennant alongside the coach, Dave Miller. What's up, Coach?
KT.
All right, it's time to get to the conference highlights from earlier this week. We take you to Pacific and Gonzaga. Mark Few and the Bulldogs come in having won 6 WCC games in a row. Early first half. Josh Perkins with a bounce pass down low to Sabonis, finishing with the dunk.
Feed the beast.
Yes, that's right. Gonzaga up 6. Eric McClellan finds a lane and throws it down.
Gotta love the pick and roll. He turns the corner.
Gonzaga up with 10 seconds left in the half. Bulldogs on the break. Kyle Dranginis trying to beat the clock. Finds a lane and gets it to go in.
Bow, wow, wow, yippee, yo, yippee, yay, the dog pound.
Second half, inbounds pass works its way to Sabonis, who dunks it home. He'd finished with 23 points. Gonzaga up by 23, pouring it on. Kyle Wilcher hits the step-back 3. Gonzaga goes on to win 90-68. Another very impressive performance from Gonzaga, of course, Coach. Kyle Wilcher, Domantas Sabonis really putting the team on their back. Do you think they're the best 1-2 punch in all of college basketball?
I wouldn't go as far as all of college basketball, but on the West Coast, no doubt. And what makes it great, they're twin towers at that. And when you look at Sabonis, the most dominant big on the West Coast, skilled, can finish inside, a motor that doesn't stop. And what I like about Wilcher is he's got great footwork, one of the better shooters in the WCC. They both can space the floor. And when you look at it, talk about college basketball, that's NBA size. Mark Few gets to work with them on a daily basis. I mean, how fun is that just to watch them grow and mature? Both of those two will be playing at the next level shortly.
Yeah, they have long careers ahead of them for sure. All right, we take you to the next game. It's USF and Pepperdine. I got to be there, which was pretty special because this guy, going into the game, Stacey Davis needing 9 points to become the all-time scorer. Davis working down low, gets it to go. With that, he becomes the all-time leading scorer. Moments later, Davis with the shot fake drives and gets this one to go, gets fouled. He'd finish with 20 points.
Come on, honk the horn, honk the horn.
Seconds to go. Iche Ufebu hits the three-pointer in the corner. USF up 1 at the half. Second half, up 5. Matthew McCarthy unable to get it to go. Davis with the rebound, stripped by Ronnie Boyce III, and he finishes with the lay-in. Pepperdine down 7. Lamont Murray Jr. creating the turnover. No one stopping him as he slams it home, Coach.
Out of Bishop Montgomery High School.
USF up 6. Boyce gets the pass beyond the arc. Drills the 3. He'd finish with 25, and USF would go on to win this one 82-72. All right, BYU trying to strengthen their resume with a win over San Diego on the road. San Diego up early. Freshman guard Olin Carter III hits the 3. San Diego up 11.
I'm glad you said the 3rd. His mama likes that.
That's right. BYU trailing by 8 with seconds to go. Kyle Collinsworth to Jordan Chapman. He hits the 3. Second half, BYU down 2. Collinsworth working the baseline. Gets past his defender. Gets the lay to go. Game tied at 32. BYU now up 2. Collinsworth forces the steal. Takes it the other way for the dunk. He'd finish with 25 points. Under a minute to go, San Diego down 4. Carter drives, gets the jumper to fall, gets fouled.
Can you say footwork?
He'd missed the free throw.
Can you say footwork?
Footwork. Under 15 seconds left. Vasa Pushitsa hits the 3. San Diego down 1.
But you can't say that 3 times.
San Diego would foul, sending Nick Emery to the line with 3 seconds to go. He'd make the first, miss the second. Pushitsa with the rebound would launch one from beyond midcourt. A couple seconds left, but it didn't fall. BYU squeaks out a victory in San Diego, 69-67. So BYU keeping pace with St. Mary's and Gonzaga in the conference standing. They have 3 games left to play. So what would you like seeing them go into the tournament?
Well, you know, it was crazy. They started out the conference and had the toughest schedule, in my opinion, in the WCC. So now they finished their last 3 at home. So they've got to beat San Diego, they've got to beat Portland, and then they've got to beat the Zags. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But it all starts with Collinsworth. I mean, Collinsworth is the guy that is the head of the snake. And you've got to, you know, he's going to stuff the stat sheet. That team goes as he goes. But really, it's been the emergence emergence of the freshman, Nick Emery, that I like. I know what I get from Collinsworth, but the confidence that the freshman is getting is crazy. And then when you add Fisher to the list, they've all three got the green light. So when you look out there, KT, and you see them offensively, they're fun to watch. They're going to get up and down the floor. But the key to them getting to the finals of the WCC conference and possibly getting that bid to the big dance, they've got to defend. Offense will win games. Defense wins championships. I've got to see them buckle down and be able to get consecutive stops.
Seems like they're on their way. All right, let's take it to our next highlight. It's Santa Clara and LMU. Kerry Keating from the Broncos looking to steal one at LMU. Pick it up in the second half. Jared Brownridge with the hot hand for the Broncos on this one, hits the three. And moments later, Brownridge goes ahead, hits one on the wing. He'd finished with 26 points. The game's tied at 49. Santa Clara up 3 now. Matt Hubbard gets it down low to Nate Cratch, who dunks it in. Broncos up 5. Less than 30 seconds to go in the game. Stephen Haney open in the corner, hits the 3. LMU down 1. Down 2 now. Haney with the 3 to take the lead, but it would not go. Santa Clara would hold on to win 76-72. All right, St. Mary's in Portland. Randy Bennett on the road in Portland looking to sweep the season series. Jump ahead to late in the second. They work it inside to Dane Pinot for the layup and gets fouled. He'd missed the free throw, but St. Mary's leads 72-70.
He's so efficient.
So efficient. Pilots down 2, looking to tie. Bryce Presley with the ball drives and misses, but a loose ball foul is called against the Gales. Joe Rahan with the ball for St. Mary's with under 10 seconds left. Drives to his right, throws it off the glass and in. Pilots inbound. Try the half-court shot, but it hits off the back of the rim. Gales win it at the end. St. Mary's gets the season sweep over Portland. So let's go ahead and take a look at the WCC standings. Really close at the top. Gonzaga sits in first with a 13-2 conference record. St. Mary's is right behind at 12-3, followed by BYU at 11-4 after a big win at the Slim Jim on Thursday. Best part of the show, people. It's time for this week's edition of Player versus Coach. Back on WCC Media Day, which feels like a million years ago now, Chris McGee and Coach Dave Miller quizzed our favorite players and coaches from the WCC on one another. Today we have LMU head coach Mike Dunlap and senior Maren Mornar.
I said, Coach, I'm going to start with you. I want you to name who's his favorite NBA basketball player.
Oh, it would have to be.
Let him write. He's got to write it first.
Okay.
Coach knew that one. He was ready to get there.
You got it down?
Yeah.
What do you think, Coach?
Oh, I would maybe Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan?
Show the camera.
Show it. KD.
Kevin Durant. All right. So throw Coach the.
No. You're going to ask all three. You're going to ask
two more questions. Yeah. What's his favorite food?
He's writing
Spaghetti.
Fast.
Let's see what he wrote.
What'd you write?
Reveal it. Burgers.
0 for 2 so far. This is great. All right. One more.
Oh, here's one. What's the most number of points he ever scored in a game?
Ooh, that's a good one.
27.
Ooh.
He's got 5 foot 30.
Yeah. 27. You know what? You asked him a basketball question, and he got it. Yeah, he's like, listen, I know my guys.
All right, Coach.
Now I'm going to ask you. So give Coach the pen.
There you go, Coach. And the eraser.
All right. Oh, man, I'm going to give you the easiest one right off the bat. Where did your coach go to college?
LMU.
Yeah, you didn't even wait for him. Yeah, okay, you got that. That was such a
Don't answer
softball.
right away. Let him write it down so we can keep it on.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Favorite non-basketball activity outside of basketball? What does Coach like to do the most?
Hey, think about my shoes when I come into the weight room.
I know that answer, and I don't even play for Coach.
He loves to run.
He loves to run. Does he love to run you guys?
Yeah.
Okay, so far, by the way, you're doing fantastic. You got one more. Mm-hmm. Who's Coach's favorite player?
All time?
Hold on. All time?
You know what? I'm going to go all time. I was going to say on the team.
Don't say it yet. Let him write it down.
Favorite player of all time?
All time.
All time.
Jordan.
Let's see. Coach? Jerry West.
Jerry West.
Coach, we love that answer around here. By the way, you guys did a nice job right there.
Thank you.
Coach was 1-2. You were 2-1. Nice work right there. So you know your coach a little bit better. That's LMU, by the way. Good work, guys. We appreciate it.
Love it. Still to come on WCC this week, we'll check out the student section at LMU home games and see how President Snyder takes team spirit to a whole new level. Time for our WCC Player of the Week. It's BYU freshman guard Nick Emery. Last week, he averaged 34 points a game and shot 69% from the field in wins over Santa Clara and San Francisco. In the win against USF, he scored 37 points, which is a BYU freshman record. Congrats to Nick. In 2015, Timothy Law Snyder was named the 16th president in LMU school history. He may be somewhat new to the job, but he's already sitting well with the students, literally. At LMU home games, you can catch him hanging in the student section and leading the cheers. Here's Sarah Cazell with a story.
When you watch an LMU basketball game at Gersten Pavilion, look at the student section. You'll see the LMU loyalty, chanting and cheering. You'll see signs jabbing the opposition. Third grade haircut! You'll also see the university's president, Timothy Law Snyder, right in the thick of it. No, he's not lost, at least not anymore.
The first time I went to the student section was by accident. I didn't know how to get into the pavilion. I started last June. So I walked around the building to the wrong side, found myself there, and I thought, well, you may as well try it.
I think somebody turned around and saw him just minding his own business, sitting up a few rows back with just a polo and jeans on. Then we were like, wait, is that President Snyder? No way. So then at halftime, we invited him down to sit with us.
Snyder has been part of LMU loyalty ever since. He attends as many games as he can, sometimes sitting with alumni, but always stopping by the rowdier side of Gersten.
It's pretty crazy, and he doesn't just sit there and watch. He is into it just as much as we are.
That was huge! That was huge!
Head coach Mike Dunlap, who's coached all over the country in college and NBA roles, calls the president's involvement highly unusual.
It's rare in the way he participates. I mean, he's like another student in that way. He blends right in. And they think the students have embraced him in a real kind of informal way. I mean, because I think everybody approaches the president in a formal thing. And he's right in there, boots on ground, kind of would be the cliche, but it's neat.
Defense! 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 Defense!
I think it'll grow. It is going to be a brand, if you will, to have our president like that. So it means a lot to our players, too.
What started off as a simple mistake has turned into a statement. Be loud, be proud, and always aim to do better.
I think all of us have a point of pride with our sports teams, and that's particularly true of the leadership at a given institution. But bear in mind also, we are a Jesuit institution of higher education, and the education of the whole person is huge. Intellectual peace, the spiritual peace, the academic peace, the social peace, body, mind. And so this is part of our mission, part and parcel.
It sounds good over there. You guys got to keep this going. I'm full. No way. You guys are combustion engines. If I eat it, bad things happen.
For the WCC This Week, I'm Sarah Cazell.
Thank you, Sarah. You can catch LMU in San Francisco in our Game of the Week. Coming up next, here's the rest of the WCC games on today. 5 o'clock, Santa Clara takes on Pepperdine, followed by San Diego and BYU at 6. 2 late games this weekend, headlined by St. Mary's taking on Gonzaga. A big weekend in the WCC. So, Coach, that takes me to this. What are your keys for the Game of the Week?
Well, I mean, it's going to be a great game, USF at LMU. And the big question to me is, Autumn Jacko, is he going to play? Because LMU, they've got to pound the ball in the paint. And when you look at USF, they're small. I mean, they love to play small ball. Tim Dirksen, at best, is 6'3". He's guarding power forwards. And then for LMU, the key is going to be, it starts with transition defense and it ends with transition defense. They're going to have to find Boyce and Watson and really contain them and build that proverbial wall and not let them get into the paint. And if they can make it a half-court grind, low possessions, LMU can win this game.
Yeah, but we also know USF is very good on the road, so it's going to be a tough one for sure. All right, that is it for me and Coach. We'll get you back to Gersten Pavilion after the break.
WCC This Week, presented by Geico, continuing on Family Weekend here at Loyola Marymount University. Steve Quist alongside Casey Jacobson inside Gersten Pavilion, which is starting to fill up. We can answer Coach Dave Miller's question from the last segment. No, Autumn Jacko will not play for the 3rd consecutive game. They'll be down 2 starters, as Josh Spears will not play either. That is a coach's decision, so that brings us to our X factors, which will be guard play.
Yeah, the point guard matchup is going to be really exciting. We're going to start with Devin Watson, the 6'1" guard from Oceanside, California. He's been balling all year long. The scoring numbers from him, very impressive. He's dropped 20 or more 15 different times this year, but he's not just a gunner, he's also a creator. He averages over 5 assists, and the good news is he's just a sophomore. He's going to be battling this guy right here, Brandon Brown, the 5'11" junior from Arizona. He's excellent off the dribble and in the open court. His assist to turnover ratio is over 2-to-1, which you really like. But without Autumn Jacko, I expect a very aggressive Brandon Brown, especially on the defensive end, getting out in passing lanes, trying to create easy opportunities on the offensive end.
USF has been playing their best basketball this season coming in. They're winners of 6 of their last 8 games. And Casey, we were talking before this broadcast, they've become very comfortable down here in Southern California over the last few years.
They have. If they win this game, the Dons will have swept the LA schools, Pepperdine and LMU, for a 4th consecutive year in a row. That is very tough to do, Steve.
And it's a small lineup. We'll see if they can do the things that they did on Thursday against Pepperdine, which would be they turned the waves over, turned that into points too, and their bench scoring was fantastic.
USF is one of the most dangerous offensive teams in the entire conference. I mean, you talk about BYU, you talk about Gonzaga 1 and 2, but the Dons are 3rd. They like to get up and down, and they can rain threes if they get hot.
We told you it is a huge day in the conference because what is coming up tonight? Pay particular attention on the bottom of your screen. St. Mary's at Gonzaga, perhaps the game of the year in the conference.
It's the one that everybody circles. I know I'm going to be definitely watching in front of the TV for that game, and I mentioned before, Gonzaga, they have revenge on their mind. They had that game wrapped up at St. Mary's. They had a 15-point lead in the second half, and somehow they let it slip away. Let's see if they can pull it off at home in Spokane.
Well, Loyola Marymount's not going to have all their horses, but they're trying to avoid that 8-9 game, which would be on Friday, March the 4th at Orleans Arena in the WCC tournament. And maybe perhaps San Francisco here can get to the 4 spot, and then it would be 4-5, them against Pepperdine on Saturday, March the 5th over there in Las Vegas. Coming up next, it's the Dons and the Loyola Marymount Lions on Family Weekend here in Southern California. Casey and I will be back for the tip-off and the play-by-play coverage right after this.